Joe, what is going on? Get this live started here. Make sure we're good to go. Well, as you can hear, my little girl still has not fell asleep yet. um, but I wanted to get on the charts here before I took the little ones to school. Just because I wiped off my entire chart yesterday. Um, I got a video that I'll post later today on our YouTube channel. And I'll throw it in the Discord. You'll probably find it on my TikTok as well. But just kind of was giving a little insight on my journey and just how things have been going, just kind of providing updates there. So I did that last night, so I'll get that uploaded just so you guys can just keep following along. I know how important it is to understand that, wow, other people are going through this stuff too. Even somebody that gets on the chart as much as I do has a really cohesive outlook on trading. Not to my own horn or anything like that, but there is a certain point where it is okay to acknowledge the work we've put into concepts and different skills and different tasks that develop us. It's okay to acknowledge that stuff. So I am fully confident in my abilities of trading, but sometimes, and excuse my French, but shit happens, and it's how will we move forward after that shit happens, right? And so, you see my screen here, and shit has happened lately. I would say since let's see, right at about, yeah, so I would say since last week, July 22nd, that week, the week of the 22nd. So which week was that? Yep. So pretty much last week was my worst trading week by far. Right. And boom, 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 just getting smacked all around. So lost probably learned, that's very important for me to emphasize right now. Learned over about 60% of my account, 65% of my account, maybe a little more. So right now I got $100, and it either is gonna go to zero, or we're gonna increase it. But and you guys already know the disposition I'm gonna have on what's about to happen. To this $100 I have. As my little girl's crying in the background, she's all good. She's not even having a single tear if I go over there. But if it continues, I'll go quiet her down. But I just wanted to see what price was doing here. This is my 4-hour levels. So as I was saying, I basically just cleaned off my chart because that's okay. That's okay to do. I felt like I was allowing my analysis to corrupt all of the other things that are involved when it comes to trading. Our trading routine, our risk management, our trade plan. So those things I was allowing to just go idle and dormant. I wasn't even focused on them because I was so focused on my analysis. Because I had my areas of inefficiencies, my areas of imbalance, right? I had my decision-making areas. So I'm like, I was so bent on those that I got away from the concepts that everything is put here to work together as a whole, right? It's put together to work here as a whole. 1 second. Yeah, and most of the time she does not want anything. She just wants me to hold her. She really likes these. She really enjoys these charts too, which is good. But moving forward here, cleaned off my chart. So this is what we're looking at now. All I do when I mark up a new chart, I start on this weekly, right? So as you can see, I have my weekly trend. That price has been respecting. So very clean weekly trend here that I want to see price continue to respect, or it's just a really good indication of a potential trend change if we do get to move below this weekly. But me and Q were talking about this a lot yesterday. Being able to frame time frames, and being able to understand multiple time frame analysis, and how all these time frames work together as a whole is highly important. It's highly important. And so when we're thinking about the weekly, this doesn't seem like a lot of room to this trend line, right? But that's over 1,000. That's like, almost 1,000 pips, right? To go from where this candle is now just to this trend line, not even breaking it, just touching it, right? And so I love having that there. I like having longer time frame trend lines, weekly, daily, 8 hour. I don't really want to go lower than the 4, just because then I'm not really getting all the data I want. Like 1 hour is just too. I have other things to look at, time frames that kind of work within the day. But I kind of like these time frames to show me also the day, but how our week may potentially end or pan out. And so as we see here, price respecting a weekly trend, the MACD showing signs of potential green dot, right? And so I wrote this yesterday at 11:56, right? And even then, the MACD was showing signs of a potential green dot. Why am I saying that? You guys are familiar with this MACD, then you know why I'm saying that. I'm not going to get into it now. But Joe, I know you're definitely familiar, and all of our other bloomers, I'm definitely familiar with why this looks like, it could show, it's showing signs of a potential green dot. We see sellers have lost volume, right? Sellers have lost volume, right? AKA gray bars, right? We compare this to when price started moving downwards, right? So what I'm saying by that is if we compare our volume, right, to when price started moving downwards, it's a direct correlation, right? So the moment we got weak buyers volume, we started moving downwards on price, right? Look at that. And that's all I am doing with this is reading my volume. I want to read how accurate this tells me the volume when it comes in and out and goes in and out, right? And you can do that by just looking at the MACD, looking on the candles, at the MACD, looking on the candles. And you can see from the point when we get volume, we get movement, right? From when we get movement, at the same time, we're getting volume, right? And it is just, the correlation is hand in hand, right? And so that's what I mean by there when I say compare this to when price started moving downwards. All right. One thing I do want to emphasize though, real quick, sometimes the volume is delayed, right? Sometimes the volume is delayed, right? To where, I have seen it to where we start to lose buyers volume, right? But the move of the buyer's volume, like when it came in, didn't show yet in price. And so when we start to lose buyer's volume, I've seen it start to head up. However, that is the delayed volume, because then right after that it just moves back down. If you guys got questions on that, just drop some in the comments or the chat or anything. But and then let's see, sometimes the volume is delayed, blah blah blah, we use it to our advantage. All right. And I said pretty much this is kind of my thoughts on it. XAUUSD potentially set to make another ATH. If it breaks its weekly trend, it's gonna fall, in my opinion. If it breaks its weekly trend, it's gonna fall at about this level here. I say somewhere around this range, this range to this range. Just definitely this area is we can see an area that it's definitely bound to revisit. But that would be at the expense of breaking our weekly trend. right? So if that happens, hold on to your hats. But as we're sitting here now, this is where we're at, right? So I go down one more time frame. This is why I love the way I mark up my charts. I feel like the way the way we're able to find levels over here, at Bloom, between me and Q, it's some pretty accurate stuff. Some pretty accurate stuff. But go from weekly, right, to daily to 8, and then I have a lot of clean areas here. So at my all-time high, look at that, very clean decision-making zone. And if let me show you this real quick. Where's my super clean decision-making zone right here?
In 300 feet, turn left.
Right.
With Cox's fiber power,
that black candle with that white candle, and then the black one right after that. Clean decision-making zone there.
GPS in no time flat.
All right, you guys see that? Boom. Clean decision-making zone at an all-time high.
Get gig speeds,
right?
Powered by fiber.
So to
Upgrade
me,
your internet today with Cox, the nation's fastest internet provider.
I wouldn't mind playing something like this. And this is not a trade I would take, because this is obviously on the 8-hour, right? It's a 250 pip stop, right? But I want to see this area get respected. And that's why when I talk about what I'm seeing in the market, I say stuff like, I say stuff like potential. Because I have no idea what's going to happen. Everything is speculation, and everything has potential. It has the potential to break this trend. It also has the potential to make all-time high. It also could potentially use this decision-making zone to move bearish, right? So I just want us to get used to talking in that mindset. That is so important for us to talk in that and not say words out loud or even in our head that make it seem like we know what's going to happen. Like we have to pull ourselves away from that. And I'm telling you guys this based on me and my experience and my current lessons that I take. Like, I know, and this is separate, this is nothing to do with trading, I'm talking about myself. I know when I'm acting out of arrogancy, I don't know if that's a word, out of being arrogant. In my, like I said just a minute ago, my technical analysis. So the way I had my charts work before, I was so caught into that and bought into that, that I didn't allow the other aspects of trading to play a major, to, do their part, play their role. So let me check FinViz real quick. FinViz sitting at a decent 0.66. Today's a special day for how I'm gonna approach these charts, just because heavy dose of chart information later when it comes to economical news. FOMC meeting. Of course, FOMC is gonna talk about these interest rates, which we all have pretty clear speculation of what is going to happen with these interest rates today. And shout out to the CME Fed watch tool, who kind of just shows us the sentiment, you could say, or target rate probabilities, right? And so today, July 31st, we're sitting at a 96.9% chance of the rate cuts not changing, right? So the current rate target is 5.25. So that just means 5% on just overnight borrowing, and just any interest rates on loans and stuff like that, but has to do with overnight borrowing from banks to banks. And that's, basically 97% chance that's not changing. But if you just see up here, right, it shows you the next 3 meetings this year besides the one today, and each one you click, you see that number decrease of it staying the same, right? And you start to see speculation of a potential, target. And so we can be really, really sure that, this meeting today remains unchanged. However, the FOMC statement and the FOMC press conference will have great influence on these, right? On September, on November, right? So it'll have great influence on that stuff. And so let's see, what else do we have today? Chicago PMI, I believe that already, that's at 645, so that came out. Pending home sales, right? This is probably the first time I've seen pending home sales month to month at a red folder. That's actually interesting. So basically bullish, 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 bearish, bearish, right? Bullish, 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 bearish, bearish. So the NF, the non-farm unemployment change was bearish, employment costs bearish, so things related to employment bearish. Let's see how I want to go and see how the dollar's acting right now, but let me finish this here. Just wanted to show news, that tool, and just kind of what the future for today looks like. Let's see here. My 8-hour. So ultimately, of course, like this price can't even get up here unless it breaks this, right? So it has to break our 4-hour area first. And this 4-hour area is a strong area as we see. Price has used it a few times. Came up here after breaking, an all-time high, and then found a decision-making area, right? Then used that decision-making area to break above, come back down, touch. Now we're moving towards it again, right? The last time we came and tried to touch, right, we moved down from it. So this is the second touch since we've moved away from it, right? This touch doesn't count because this is an area where we've broken through it. Not that it doesn't count, but I'm looking at this different than I'm looking at this, right? Because we came here, rejected, and moved downwards. We came here, broke through,
and use them up to 5
right?
times in one transaction. Check our app for details. Fries, fresh for everyone.
All right. And then another thing too, so just blending all of it together. I have my 4-hour area. Price is really close to that 4-hour area. We've seen that is an area that price has already rejected once, right? Okay. We understand that we did get some bullish news. However, we did get some bearish news. Non-farm unemployment change and unemployment costs, in my opinion, I would say that would have greater impact than these other 3 folders. However, this Fed funds rate is like just sitting volume. Did he eat his food already? And so that's why I said today is kind of unique, and in how I'll personally approach it, because I'll look to get involved with some of this volume that comes in at this time, because there'll still be about 3 to 4 hours left of the market. Let me just make sure my chat. Make sure my chat is up. And so like I said, there'll be volume sitting behind these, right? And based on what goes on here could influence which one of these show themselves, right? So based on what the FOMC talks about, let's say they come out with something regarding employment in the labor market. Then yeah, and that's just my speculation. That's just my observation. That could be completely untrue. And that's the thing when it comes to these type of concepts. There is no right and wrong. There is no right and wrong. Like genuinely. Because it's all information to be interpreted on top of how it affects the market. Yeah, it is a lot of red, Joe. And so right now for me, I will kind of be disregarding the news because I kind of get the news has kind of been washed for me. Because I got, like I said, I got strong bearish news, but I also got some strong bullish news, right? So I'm gonna assume that volume is still just kind of like just bottling itself up, right? So news volume hasn't necessarily come in yet, moved towards a strong 4-hour zone. But look at our MACD, right? Look at our MACD. MACD is showing me that we are losing buyers volume, right? Not only are we losing buyers volume, but the time that we came and rejected this part of price, or this part of, when we came and rejected this decision-making zone, we had similar volume in the market, right? There was similar volume in the market. So I'm noticing that. I'm noticing that. Now, what would make me view these different is if these were a lot, like if on this candlestick, this volume bar looked like this, I would be more encouraged that we would break through here if this volume bar this candlestick right here, let me do this red line, if this volume bar on our MACD looked like this one right here, I would be more encouraged that would break through because we have fresh volume. Right now we have weak, stale volume. It's telling me that we're losing volume. So it's telling me the complete opposite of what I would want if I was supporting its claim to move in this direction. But it is supporting the claim that we could potentially move away from this area and move towards that trend line, right? It is supporting that claim, right? And the beautiful thing about these areas, there's no telling that it's not going to do something like this, because this is the 4-hour, and even that move to that trend line is 400 pips of movement, right? So if it wants to accumulate on this higher time frame in this area, that's fine by me because I can play within this area. Like I said, from this 4-hour decision-making zone to the bottom of this weekly trend is 500 pips. And of course it starts to shrink as you get in here, but it's still a lot of room. So I'm noticing that. I do see if we see it, I hope we see it. If we remember how we find my areas, how we find my decision-making zones, I've said it on a number of different calls. This candle close right here, this candle close would basically need to be above the body of this candle, and then this would be a decision-making zone. The stronger this candle is, the better I'll like that decision making zone. I don't like when my decision making zones are like this. I like when they're really clear candles, just like this one up here on this 8 hour, right? How it's just really clean and clear. Like I don't like when this one's the very last one should always be a very strong candle, right? It shouldn't be like an indecision type of decision making zone level. Like look, and in here you see how strong that bullish candle is. I like when I see it like that. See how strong that bullish candle is. I like it when I see it like that. See if I can find one more in here. Look at this one. See how strong that last candle is. I like it when I see it like that. So depending on how this candle closes will change how I view that decision making zone. But ultimately, no matter what type of one it leaves, I'm gonna assume this is a strong area. Because why? Because I already have one at this level, right? So that's super clean there. Even as I go down the time frame, 2 hour, losing more buyers volume. 1 hour, starting to move to the seller side, right? So sellers has now stepped in, right? So we're showing me rejection from this 4 hour, right? 30 minute, okay? And now what I'm looking for, I'm gonna show you what I'm looking for. 15 minute, okay? Look at all this. I want to get out of this area. I don't want to be playing in this area, right? 5 minute, okay. Now we're at the 5 minute. And what did I not find on that way down? And I'm sure I can. There it goes. I was looking for one of these decision making zones, right? I need to see that they're stepping in. Somebody's stepping in. Sellers are stepping in. And then what do we do? Hold on, because we're on these lower time frames now. Let's go up to this 5 minute. Now we can start to utilize our guide, right? Now we can start to utilize our guide. Let me get rid of this position because it's in my way. All right. And now we start to utilize our guide. And what do I notice from a few things? I noticed that price is below our purple line, our conversion line. So that tells me the last 9 periods of price, sellers are potentially taking over that period. My MACD is showing me we have some sellers volume coming in strong. Which they're going to have to come in really strong if they're going to break this area. All this rejection, they're going to have to come in really strong if they're going to break this area, right? And so what do I want now? Watch this. What I want now is I want to find a decision-making zone in this level. And yeah, it'd be very easy for us to just go, okay, boom. I don't want to do that. I want to find the level I want to find. And boom, there it is, right? Decision-making zone there. One right after it, actually. So right on its same level. So I love that. So we'll put it there. Boom. So now what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for price to come and touch this level. And then I'm waiting, and then I'm reacting. If it's going to show me that it wants to head back up that way, I'm going to go down to my 1 minute and I'm going to wait for my execution. This is something I have not done in the last week. Dead serious. I've been trading off of, I have not been trading like my normal execution process. Like I've basically been trading off of like just saying the zone. Like have not been using my cloud, right? I've used the MACD, used the volume, but ultimately the infamous Bloom strategy, I've gotten really far away from that. And accidentally, like I said, that's part of my trade plan. That's part of my trade routine, like that's the, you know, and so the fact that I have got away from that, it shows. It's not related to my decision making zone levels or none of that. It's strictly related to my execution process, going down to that 1 minute time frame, and you know, executing, waiting for that cloud, waiting for those angles, waiting for that volume, right? Still want to do that stuff within understanding our levels, right? I was just trading levels, and my levels are pretty accurate. Like I said, and we've seen it time, like my levels are pretty accurate, but the confirmations are the confirmations because they have confirmed their validity already. You know, so that's pretty much just the 5 minute here. So we would just be waiting, right? And I like waiting on the 5 minute because I'm analyzing how price is acting on this conversion line, right? So if we go back over here, let's say we wanted to enter a trade this morning, right? Let's say, because there was no trades in here, there may have been a trade right here when the price got below this conversion line on the 5 minute. Because, and while I'm saying that, you guys are probably like, Marcus, price isn't above the cloud. Yeah, it's not on the 5 minute, but if we look at this level on the 1 minute, right, we see it, we'll probably see it below the cloud, right? So look, we'll see it below the cloud. You see that? That's exactly why I like using it like that. So the moment it gets below on the 5 minute, we can flip to the 1 minute, and that's like the exact time that it gets below on the cloud as well. So if you found a good angle from the cloud, and you were okay with that risk from, you know, basically somewhere around here, and then it would have been to my decision making zone, you could have took that play this morning, or that'd have been last night, right? So it'd been about a 1.6 to 1, almost a 2 to 1. Not bad. I personally don't like this because it's only 50 pips to my or it's only 38 pips to my decision making zone, and I like to have at least over 50 for me to enter a trade. I need at least over 50 pips to a decision making zone for me to enter a trade, because I don't like when price stops, you know, 20 pips before that level and then turns around. I don't need to get into that. But you know, going into this 5 minute again, seeing where we're at now, this morning, if you wanted to enter a buy, right, you would have saw on the 5 minute, right when price got above the conversion line. Now, candle close is important, yes, but as long as we see a candlestick get above this purple line, right? As long as we see that. So while this candlestick is forming, if we saw that, we go to the 1 minute. Right? And look at that. So right when, right, let me do this. Right when this candle, right, moved above my purple line, right? And that's what this horizontal line I have is. This line here, it's right when, and we can even put it right there. That's right when this candlestick broke above this conversion line, right? We go down to the 1 minute. This is that same point, right? Watch this. Look at that. That's an entry. That is my entry confirmation. I have not been taking any of these kind of entries for the last week, and it's shown in my P&L. It's shown in my P&L. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, we'll say 21. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm 6 for 15 in the last week because I have not taken one single entry. I've not taken one single entry like our Bloom entries, and in return, I'm 40%. 40%. And that's not terrible. Like, you don't need some like crazy win rate to be super profitable, but the thing is, all the other aspects from me not following my trade plan allow me to get away from my risk management, right? Risking much more than I have written down right there in front of me, right? $7.50 to $15 is my max risk per entry. And that's when I'm trading that's basically a 2.5% of my account to 5% of my account. Now I have dynamic risk and things in place like that, but at the end of the day, this was over trading. This is when I was over trading. And then I, got greedy, and then, I'm wanting stuff to happen that's not happening yet because I'm in draw, and it was just a cycle. But moving forward, that would have been a clean entry buy, right? I like flat part of the cloud for my stop loss. I also really like my 5-minute and the candle open before we broke the conversion line, right? I like the candle open before we broke the, and you could use the open or you can use the low, but sometimes this low will be lower than we may like it because of a wick. But at the same time, I do not want to get stopped out. So even if price does want to creep below this conversion line for a second and then head bullish, I want to be able to have a little bit of room to be able to do that rather than just putting it at the right below that conversion line, right? So I like it at the open, but then, where am I taking this? I'm taking it to my decision-making zone. That's where I'm taking it, level to level, right? So on our 1 minute, that would have been our entry, right? And this was this morning. We had volume on our entry too. So yes, volume was there on our. Actually, let me just go back just so we know, right? So we just move forward on that. We'll just move forward real quick. See if we get stopped. See if we get stopped out. Oh, this is where price currently is now. Right. So when it got stopped out, maybe could have snagged 68 pips. Right, if we wanted to take profit there. So would have got a 2-to-1 there, or still in your trade, and it didn't hit your stop loss yet. Right. All because analyzing this 5-minute conversion line and how price communicates with it. Right. 1 second. Actually, it's about 8:04. I gotta take my little people to school. I get to take my little people to school. Pressure. 1 second, please. So I'm gonna take my little people to school right now. Make them a quick breakfast before they get mad at me for not making them breakfast. But just gonna do that, knock that out real quick, and then I will probably be back on in a little bit. Once I get back home, because FOMC meeting is a little bit later today. So yeah, we'll knock that out and we'll do that together. But other than that, I'm gonna get off here and get this screaming baby off the screen, and I will see you guys a little bit later today. Be on the lookout in the Discord for when we go live again. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Marcus. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Joe.
Have a good one.